on the discussion, I actually am going to make a motion to amend, just so folks are aware, this is a $100,000 grant to update our zoning. You heard a little bit about it earlier. And a $100,000 match. The match is coming from the Troy Redevelopment Foundation. I'm being told, well, we have to use it for the zoning. However, I am going to make a motion to amend to request the 5 big nonprofits, which is RPI, St. Peter's, and the other 3, to use the funding, put the zoning plan on hold, and use the $100,000 for the neighborhoods, whether it be a neighborhood improvement program for each of our districts. It's $100,000. I would like to put the zoning plan on hold. We have much more needs in our neighborhoods, needs on our streets, back to basics. Whether it be, so saying that, yeah, well, I have a motion on the table, so that's on discussion. So on the motion, I am making a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it. I want to hear the...
Yep, on the discussion.
Just wondering, this sounds more like discussion. I'm wondering if you have language for an amendment.
You don't need language for an amendment. You can make a motion on the floor. You know the Robert's rules. You know the rules of the council. So this is a motion to take $100,000 from the Troy Redevelopment Foundation that is being used as the match. There's a motion. There's a second. I am making a motion to use it for other things, put the zoning plan on hold. We all know the updated zoning is going to be very, very worthwhile. I totally agree with that. However, there are needs of the city, immediate needs, and I'd like to use the $100,000 match for other purposes. Councilmember Kennedy.
Another point of clarification, it seemed that multiple people, and I want to make sure you're not included in this, that this isn't a study.
No, a zoning update.
Yeah, I wanted to just make that clear because
Yep.
I've heard it been misreferenced. And I believe that once the zoning update is completed, we will see immediate return, especially internally and especially in the volume of zoning variances that we receive as a city. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
So,
And, just so folks know, the zoning update will probably take about a year to complete. So we're looking at a year-long zoning update. In my opinion, I would like to put that $100,000 into the communities. It's in my opinion, and I've been, a part of many zoning updates, comp planning, you name it, they're great. However, right now, the needs of our city are more important. You heard whether it be cameras, whatever, but these $100,000 funds should go towards something else, and I truly believe that they should. So, Councilmember Garrett.
You said 5 other organizations. What organizations are you speaking of?
Yeah,
Because the
St.
problem that I'm
Peter-
having is that these bigger organizations are sucking the funds out of the people that's actually doing the work. And if you're gonna put it into St. Peter's, who have a lot of money.
So they're the ones-
No, that's not what I'm
Oh,
proposing.
they're the ones that's giving the money?
They're the ones,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, just checking.
Here's what, the Troy Redevelopment Foundation, and this is great, we'll sit down and go over the budget, I really look forward to doing that with you. They provide, it's a very, I wanna say a 10-year, $400,000 and some odd commitment to the city for various programs. It's an annual $400 and some odd $1,000. It's St. Peter's, RPI, Russell Sage, Hudson Valley, and not Hudson Valley, who's,
So there's no second, let's just...
there is a second.
So the TRF consists of St. Peter's, RPI, Emma Willard, and Russell Sage.
Yes.
It used to be the 2 hospitals. St. Peter's bought both hospitals. It's $450,000 that they contribute outside of any taxes they pay. Part of it goes to the general fund, and the other part is given to the city to allow them to choose items of which to send up to them for approval, and then they approve it. This is how we're funding the 7th and Ingalls design and study of the 7th Avenue Park. we do spend $250,000 in the neighborhoods, as well as being able to do critical improvements and updates like the zoning.
Thank you. So, Councilmember Garrett, we received a $100,000 grant from the Department of State to update our zoning. The match is from the city for $100,000. They're taking out the Troy Redevelopment Foundation for a $200,000 study. My proposal is to take that $100,000 from the 4 nonprofits from the Troy Redevelopment Foundation, put the zoning plan on hold, and use those monies for other purposes. So that's my proposal. Use it, whether it be for a neighborhood program, whether it be for, somebody mentioned, a youth program throughout our city, but let's use it for grassroots purposes, for real needs. A zoning planning, a zoning update right now is not in the better interest. So we have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I think there's a strange thing happening here where it's an either or being set up, as if spending $100,000 on this thing, which I think everyone who's spoken against it has also said it's extremely important. We understand it's really important, but we're going to kick the can down the road, and we're going to say, hold off on giving us this $100,000 from the state. We will probably get to it maybe eventually. I think the city of Troy has a bad record when it comes to grants from the state. We continue to get them and then not spend them because the effort doesn't go in, or because different projects take priority. And this is something that's been really needed for a very long time. Our zoning ordinance is incredibly out of date. It causes a whole lot of problems in our neighborhoods when buildings that are not well suited to those neighborhoods are built there. It causes problems to our development because it makes it harder for people to build in a way that fits well into the neighborhood. This process will be a process that is for the neighborhoods, that it includes people in figuring out how they want their neighborhoods to look in the coming years, and puts them in the center of figuring out what their neighborhoods will look like, and puts them in a decision-making process to really make sure that our zoning and our laws reflect the desire of the community and the desire of the progress for our community.
Okay.
And so, I think everybody agrees that this is really important work. The other thing is, obviously, we've heard from several people about all these other really important things, which I totally agree are really important, which is why we put them in the 2019 budget, right? There's I don't remember the bonding off the top of my head, but obviously significant bonding to redevelop the pools. There's $118,000 for youth programs. There's millions of dollars in the last several years to redo sidewalks out of the CDBG program. We're doing a comprehensive reassessment of the sidewalks. TJ and I and Jim Goley worked together to double the size of the NIT program this year, which is massive. Incredibly big increase of the amount of funding that is going directly into these small neighborhood projects. We funded a 311 system that makes it more effective and efficient for us to respond to and address pothole repairs. It's not like putting this $100,000 into these needed long-term things means we can't do the short-term things. These short-term things are happening and will continue to happen. And it really just seems like demagoguery to say anything else.
And I agree with that. Council Member Kennedy?
Yeah, just,
I just think
why didn't you bring up the need for $100,000 for potholes during the budget season when we're supposed to talk about this?
we have talked about Council Member Kennedy.
You specifically requested an additional.
Councilmember Kennedy.
And, yeah,
We have,
Yeah.
we
Can I
have
ask
the
the
floor.
council-
Not yet, please.
Well, yeah, and
We have a
then-
motion, we have a second, we're in a discussion.
So what did you say during the budget season about potholes?
What did we say? We
No,
talked
what
about
did
it
you say?
extensively. What did you say, Councilmember?
I didn't say anything about
Okay,
it.
that's
I'm
great.
asking you what you said.
Okay, I'm asking you. We have a motion,
All
we have a
right,
second.
put on the timeline.
If I could, yeah, if I could,
You said,
if I
you
could,
said there's a one-year timeline.
Councilmember
Can
Kennedy.
we ask the deputy mayor to come and confirm the timeline so we have a better idea?
If I could also, I want to address something. So Councilmember Cummings mentions a couple things, state grants. Well, first and foremost, state grants linger for 10, 12, 13 years. Because we don't do it right now, they're not gonna take the state grant away. So to threaten and say, oh, we have a terrible track record and the state grant's gonna go away, that's totally false. I work for the state, I work for state agencies.
Your own words.
So saying that is false. Secondly, if anyone at this table right now says that our pothole repair program has enough money, that our sidewalk program through CDBG is plenty, we don't have a capital paving program. We rely on CDBG funds for street repair. Saying that, it's time to start thinking about capital program. Regarding the $100,000, what I'm saying right now is that the $100,000, whether we have some things in the works, it's not enough. We need more for our neighborhoods. Councilmember Gully in the Burgh, he could use more for his neighborhood. We know, and to say, well, this, and this is happening, and put this rosy pictures, we know in our
It is a rosy
neighborhoods
picture.
that we need more progress in our neighborhoods, whether it's cleaning up our streets, whether it's the blighted buildings. $100,000 will go immensely into our neighborhoods.
Council President?
Councilmember Garrett.
So with the zoning, right, so I heard, Councilmember Cummings say that with the zoning, it gives the public the chance to say what is needed in their community, is that correct?
Yeah.
So
For zoning.
For zoning, right, so prime example, I live on Fifth Avenue, which is right up the block from where Capitol Roots is, and that whole, River Street is being fixed up a lot, so with this zoning thing, would we have been able to prolong some of the development that's happening over there? Or, like, I just wanna understand a little bit more of the zoning.
Well, in answer to that though, they're making, Councilmember Garrett, they're making it sound like if you don't hire this company, we're not going to have any zoning. That's not true. We can change zoning now. In fact, the zoning update was actually done many years ago. It was done in-house, not by an outside contractor. So what I'm saying is, if we need zoning updates, let's do it in-house. I don't believe we need to outsource. Let's take the $100,000, let's put the state grant on hold, see what we can get done in-house. In fact, the person that is in the company who is with River Street Planning used to work for planning here in the city of Troy. He was the planning commissioner. So saying that, they would do it in-house before. Now they're outsourcing it. What I'm saying is, if you have a problem in your neighborhood with zoning, we can do that in-house now. We don't have to wait for a year zoning plan to get that done.
Alright,
Visited the planning department recently?
Can we just ask the deputy mayor to call and confirm the timeline and any other additional details that will help
Well-
clarify your confusion?
I have no confusion. I have a motion on the table. We've already heard the
No,
timeline.
but-
would like
We have a
But
new
this is not
timeline.
for
Okay.
a contract, this is to
This
set up
is
the accounts.
Correct, and I'm
That you've already
proposing,
approved the
I'm-
contract.
Council, Deputy
You've
Mayor,
already approved the
I
contract.
understand that. We are moving the money into special account. I am saying, we are now,
Non-taxpayer funding.
we're now going to take that $100,000, we're gonna put it in the neighborhood, and that's my proposal.
As long as the Troy Redevelopment
That's
Foundation
fine.
approve it.
And that's part of my amendment. So we have a
And then the
motion.
tax dollars from the taxpayers will pay for the $100,000, because how are you gonna backfill the $100,000?
We don't have to, that's for the zoning.
It's for the
Right,
future to
Doug.
worry about.
We're putting the
So
zoning
who's-
plan on hold.
So who's
So-
gonna pay for it in the future?
Who's saying that we're doing it immediately?
Because you approved the
Monica,
contract.
we have a motion, we have a second, I'd ask you to sit down, please.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman.
this is something, these last minute moves, I'm really trying to understand where we're going and what we're doing in terms of this sort of false dichotomy where we're pitting one thing against the other. I'm not convinced that this is the way you're describing it. And to the point about state grants, we are in a place where we're building on progress that's happening in this city, and if we start saying, let's just let these state grants languish, what effect will that have in the future of how we secure state grants in the first place? One of the things I'm thinking of right now is the downtown revitalization initiatives. We lost it last year. We lose these things because the state sees how we're entertaining these kinds of conversations. We need to continue on the progress that we're doing, and I'm not convinced by that argument. So I'm gonna vote no against the what's on the floor.
And to just address your question, the DRI, just so folks are aware, and me too, Councilmember Garrett, Councilmember December falsely says we lost it last year. No, we've lost it 3 years in a row. It has nothing at all to do with our state grant program.
Yes,
it
it
has
does.
everything to do with other communities beat us, whether it be Glens Falls, whether it be Hudson, whether it be the other communities that beat us in the DRI. In fact, we hired an outside contractor last year to get us the DRI grant, and we still did not get the DRI grant. So please, tell the whole story, tell the story that we lost 3 in a row, and we even went outside, partnered with the county to get a DRI grant, a $10 million grant, and we weren't able to. This is very simple. All I'm saying is, put the zoning update on hold. The state is not going to say, okay, we're gonna yank it from you. It does not work that way. I've worked for the state. Saying that, use the $100,000 for the real needs of our city. And that's all I'm saying. It's $100,000 that can go into our neighborhoods, whether it's for a youth program, for North Central, whether it's putting it in to recreation and to dovetail some of our recreation programs that have not been around in a while. What about our city parks? If you're saying our city parks are up to par, I want to see
That's not what I
Kinlock
said.
Park, whether it be Kinlock, whether it be now North Central's under a new upgrade, and we look,
So
so.
when he was saying about losing the grant for the year, we probably lost the grant because nobody could agree on something. Like, if you come to the table with one thing, then you need to vote, keep the table, if everybody voted on this before, because I'm just listening to everybody go back and forth. If you voted on something before, then you need to be sticking to your word, right? Please do not use North Central, District 2 as the cop-out plan, because we want people to actually really recognize District 2 and fix the problem that's in District 2, and we don't want to be treated as the token neighborhood because you want to get your point across. And by all means, I don't know either side of the state, but I'm
No, this would be for all the city. This would be programs for all the city. It's $100,000, and just to correct you, the TRF, the Troy Redevelopment Foundation, they appropriate $407,000 a year. You should know. I did not vote for the zoning update. I have said this from day one. My concern was that the $100,000 for the match should be used for other programs. So in terms of how I feel, I've been very, very consistent in terms of putting that money into our neighborhoods. So whether it be North Central, whether it be South Troy, it would go into our neighborhood programs citywide. So it has nothing just to do with North Central. Saying that, tonight, we are voting to move the money. So that's why it's appropriate to make a motion to amend, because it's the funding part of it. I voted against the contract, tonight's the funding. So they're creating a special account, moving the money from the TRF into the zoning update. What I'm saying is, hold off on that, move the money into another account for neighborhood programs.
So, Council President?
Councilmember Gully has to speak.
Would we have any, since this, I was away when it was passed, but since the contract was passed, would we have any type of liability or obligation in that contract?
No, there's a statement in the contract as long as funds are available. So, there's no liability with the contract.
So I'd like to say that everybody's been right here tonight, because there's good points on both sides of the table. For me, it just comes down to priorities. What do we need in our communities now? What do we need over the next 12 months to give our taxpayers a feeling like they're getting something for the value of living in Troy and paying the fee to live in Troy? what are we giving them back? And I just think that the $100,000 might be used for different programs that could give more impact to our communities than it would be over the long term for zoning, which we know we can go back for. And we come out of the MAC in 2 years, and we can do some things in-house that kind of progress the process, but it's all about priorities and timing. It's not about who's wrong or right. They're both great programs. They're both significant pieces of the puzzle for Troy. It's just about setting your priorities. And I just think that we could use that $100,000. I know it's a small amount compared to the big world, but I just think it could be used for something in our communities of more value than to hire somebody to rezone our city at this point. Not throughout the time, but just at this point.
Just sort of, yeah. Well, I do have a clarification on that. Just to be clear on the amendment, are you proposing to amend the funds to go into a particular other fund or just
No,
elsewhere?
I'd like it to go into recreation right now, 100,000.
into recreation? Okay.
Okay, so, I don't have the specific account.
Yeah, what
It's in
models,
recreation. No, this
Let's
is
just
for
vote.
programs.
Let's just vote.
This is for neighborhood programs. This is for neighborhood programs.
in recreation. I'm gonna.
Council President.
Yes, council member.
I just don't see the need to create the account under a title. Why not just leave the money right where it is?
Okay,
And find a better use for it instead of trying to denote it to a
Okay,
certain
fair
area
enough.
or tag it or title it, because everybody likes a title, everything likes a
Okay.
title. I just think we leave it there. If it even, it's not gonna go anywhere with the group,
Right.
so you know that.
Okay,
This is just
fair
who it
enough.
is.
So we'll call
So-
it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
go for the vote.
fair enough. Slow roll, Mara. On the motion.
On the motion to amend.
Councilmember Gully?
Yes.
Councilmember Garrett?
I'm abstaining from it, I'm not voting, because it doesn't make any sense. Y'all forgetting about the people, everybody sitting here going back and forth with their personal feelings. Everybody else, the people that's paying taxes, the one that's affected by it, so I'm not voting.
Councilmember Parator?
No.
Councilmember Cummings?
No.
Councilmember December?
No.
Councilmember Kennedy?
No,
Council President Nantello?
Yes.
The amendment fails, 2 ayes, 4 noes, and 1 abstention.
On ordinance 23. No,
Let's
further,
reread
well,
it.
you have to reread,
Oh, okay. Ordinance amending the special grants fund
because the
budget.
amendment went to.
Ordinance 23, ordinance amending the special grants fund budget. Councilmember Cummings at the request of the administration.
We have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion, I'll just say, in terms of the zoning update, you know my feelings. I would have liked to have seen, as Councilmember Gully said, the $100,000 going toward more programmatic areas, not toward a zoning update. That right now could be put on hold, and certainly our in-house could do that, and the $100,000 could have went to our taxpayers and residents, so I vote no.
How are you voting? Slow
No,
roll?
no, Mara will take it.
Yeah, sure.
No, just a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Abstain, yes.
You're abstaining? Okay. Ordinance 23 passes 4 ayes, 2 noes, and 1 abstention.
Ordinance 25.
Ordinance approving the settlement of tax certiorari proceedings instituted by 1925 Second Street LLC on the assessment roll of the city of Troy. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Cummings, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Ordinance 25 passes 6 ayes, 1 no.
I believe 7. Right, 7. I said no. 7 ayes. 7 ayes. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 ayes, 1 no. I'm getting late over here. All right, resolution 108.
Resolution 108 from 2018, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with 3T Architects for design services, construction documents, and construction administration for the Riverfront Access and Improvements Grant. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. This resolution was passed 7 ayes, 0 noes at the regular meeting on November 1st, 2018, and requires a technical amendment.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Kennedy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Garrett, discussion. As stated, this passed in 2018, and we're doing a technical amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 108 from 2018 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Resolution 22.
Resolution supporting modification of the CSX Railroad crossing on Main Street to improve vehicular, pedestrian, and bicycle safety in conjunction with the South Troy Industrial Park Road project. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Kennedy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember December, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 22 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Resolution 23.
Resolution to proclaim April 2019 as Autism Awareness Month in the city of Troy. Council President Mantello.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember, we have a tie. We have a tie, Garrett and December. Discussion, I just want to say, I think many of us have been affected by children and adults on the autism spectrum, and this is near and dear to my heart. Councilmember Garrett, we passed a resolution a couple of years ago that's called Think Differently, and it's all about changing accessibility here in our city. It's about inclusiveness. It's about thinking differently when we are working with the special needs community and the developmentally disabled community. We're trying to get more handicap swings in our neighborhood parks. The very first handicap swing is in Freer Park, and I, along with some others, worked with the Epilepsy Association to get that. We're trying to get our city parks department to work very closely to try to get more handicap accessible swings in our neighborhoods. There's one in 112th Street Park. Hopefully we'll see more, but hopefully also just more acceptability and inclusiveness and accessibility for special needs and our children and adults on the autism spectrum.
Can we focus on all of the spectrums? So disability is close to my heart. I have a brother that has cerebral palsy. He's 29. I think that we in the city of Troy need to do way better because we are not handicap accessible in a lot of areas. You go to the 500 Federal Street building, which is the Social Security building. You can't get in there unless you have somebody hold the door for you if you're in a wheelchair. So I like the autism idea. I just wish that we push it out for other options as well.
Yep. And April's Autism March was special or developmentally disabled month. So saying that it's definitely about working with all spectrums to try to make our city more accessible. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 23 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Resolution 24.
Resolution appointing commissioners of deeds for the city of Troy. Council President Mantello.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember December. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Parator. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 24 passes 7 ayes, 0.
Is this the amended from
It's the amended.
Okay.
Yep,
It'll include those other two.
correct.
Thanks.
Resolution 25.
Resolution authorizing the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with the Chazen Companies to design 5 riverfront sites. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Gully. Discussion?
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Cummings.
is Strickland here?
There is not. I'm filling in for him.
All right.
Lucky you.
Perfect.
This is a part of the same.